Today I show you how to upgrade the network internet cable in the conduit in the walls without using a wire puller or anything like that. You can simply use the existing Ethernet wire, the old wire that you will remove if you're removing it, as a wire puller to bring the new wire into the conduit.
Points, 6 contacts, 8 contacts, 4 contacts.
When you pull a new Ethernet wire through the walls, you will have to remove the connectors, the RJ45 connectors, and you will need a crimping tool like this for RJ45. There are better ones. This one is actually not so good. It's pretty old and not the best quality, but it works. And this is the Cat5E cable. I did cut it.
This is the outside and this is the bedroom.
The fiber optic cable comes from the outside wiring, the pipe from the wall and the outside. And I want to run this cable through from here to the pipe to the conduit into the bedroom, and that's Cat6A cable. When you're unwinding this cable, make sure that you really unwind it well so it doesn't get tangled. Also remove this the insulation, this protective piece of metal, aluminium. The reason to do this is to make it thinner. So even if the conduits in your wall, maybe you install 2 cables, it's gonna be difficult. The more wires you have there, the harder it is. And the Cat6A cable is pretty rigid compared to Cat5E. Cat5E is very easy to pull through the walls. It's almost double the size there. So the wires in the Cat6A are AVG23 and the Cat5E are AVG26, and yeah, they are thicker, so that means more rigid and harder to pull through the walls. I removed a little bit extra of the insulation here, only to make them a little bit longer. So it's up to you how long you make them. Also, you can use any kind of method to connect them together. Maybe this one is not the best way, but I simply made a loop and I twisted the wires behind this loop like that, something like this way, and I will compress it further. And then I take the Cat5E cable, I also twist the cables around. You could actually remove some of the cables. You can keep even only half of the wires if you're worried about thickness, especially on the Cat6A part, but I didn't want to move any of the cables inside the wall, inside the jacket of the cable, not to push them too much. And I tried, I thought if it doesn't go well, I could use some cable lubricant. That's how it looks like when it's ready to go into the wall, but there is one more step. Also, you shouldn't have any sharp edges there. Any sharp edges should be at the back towards the blue side of the cable. And I used some simple electrical tape to keep everything together. This also makes sure that the cables don't unravel themselves. Here, this took a bit of time to unwind the cable. It wasn't really the best way I did it, but somehow, okay, it was working. And now, because the cables are tied together, I wanted to make sure the edge of the jacket is really not sticking out, so it doesn't get caught in the pipes. The pipes in the walls where they are connected to each other, they might have rough edges, and it's better to keep everything smooth on the surface. So now it's ready to go in.
Without breaking the fiber, get that thing inside there and guide it to the other side.
You have to go to the other side. Actually, you should have done this first before cutting the cable, and you open the outlet, this Ethernet connector, and the most important thing is to know which cable you have to pull. And you can do this by slightly pulling, like wiggling the cable a little bit, and you have someone else, or you can put your phone with the camera on the other side to see which cable is moving. Here I didn't need to use this again, and yeah, this is a Ethernet jack connector, and it's not with a keystone, so it's pretty much decoration. I just use it as a cap. I will not use it, but if you want to reuse it, you can simply remove these wires and reuse it. You need a tool for this.
Use the Cat6A or Cat6 keystone jacks.
I do have a Cat6 jack keystone connector, but it's Cat6 without ground, and I have Cat6A with ground, so I prefer not to use it. Now there is one more cover I need to remove. There is this one. They are actually intermediate. There are two steps. One, the cable comes out first here and then it goes out to the other side.
Also another plug.
You could put another plug here also if you wanted to.
The cable goes from behind the TV to here and then to here to the other plug. So we'll start pulling it soon. Pipe is big enough, but on some bends it might be not good enough. Let's see. I have to pull from this side like that. Don't pull this side. So it's coming. Bit of damage to the cable, but it's coming out. Okay, I'm ready to pull. Okay, it's going slowly. Okay, keep going.
When you're pulling the cable through the wall, make sure you're extra careful when the old cable and the new cable, this junction part goes in the pipe, in the conduit. It shouldn't get snagged on anything, and it really helps a lot if you have someone else who is also helping the cable go inside, pushing it slightly, not too much, but as you're pulling from one side, someone else is pushing the cable in. That makes it go in really fast.
I also push it in from this side while pulling from the other side.
When pulling the cable, make sure you don't really force it too much, and if there is too much resistance, you can use some kind of lubricant for cables, or you can simply use a bit of soap or wax, and you feed the lubricant from the side that goes inside the wall, so you can pull the cable back out a bit and simply put some, even have a bar of soap on the cable as it goes in. That would make things much easier.
It's here. Okay.
Using the old cable to pull in the new cable is really much easier than having to use any other way, because the cable is already in the wall and is simply pulling the new cable.
Damage to the jacket. It's just scratches. Now the next plug. Okay, now it's time to pull from this side further. Okay, go. Okay, slowly. Now go slow and help it go inside. Okay, keep going and push it a little bit, and from the other side keep pulling. From this side you keep pulling, pull up if it comes from below, or pull down if it comes from above, so you don't put tension on the edge. Okay, I keep pulling. Okay, so it's out. Okay, it's almost finished there. Okay, leave this one like that. The scratches are very minimal, and I'll pull more from this side so I have more for the other side. Okay, keep pulling.
I do it like this because that's how the wires are set up, like this. There is one point for telephone here and another point on the other side of the room, but in your case this might be different. And you see the scratches on the cables, they don't look great, but actually it's just superficial scratches on the jacket, on the plastic only. And yeah, in your case this might be completely different.
Time to pull the other side.
There is some cable that came out from this, and I used 25 meters in total. I didn't have to cut it. When the cable comes out from the last part here, I'm actually not going to cut it and make a keystone jacket, a keystone plug on the wall. I will crimp this cable and use it as it is. Because I have one cable going into one pipe and then it goes to the other pipe next to it, I have to do it like this.
One more time slowly. Okay, maybe a bit more, half. Okay, that's enough. Here you could bring another cable from the other side and put even here another socket. Maybe I'll do that. But like this, good job. Good job. Went from the behind the TV, then goes to the other side, and then goes to the switch for the 10 gigabit Ethernet connection. But we're not finished. I have to put back here the plug and crimp the wires. Cat5E 200 megahertz. It's not going through to the way. Use lubrication. That's one way. But okay. So now plenty of cable to run from here. And here I will not use this. I will only put it as a cover here.
Ideally, I should be using the keystone jacks, Cat6A, but I have only Cat6 keystone jack. For some reason I bought the wrong jack for the wall, and I only have found one of these things. Yeah, that's the keystone jack I bought. This is Cat6. It doesn't have the ground from what I understand, so I don't want to use it, but I might be using it on some other thing, on some connections that are not needed to be Cat6A.
It's a bit bent there, so I hope it's not broken there, but we'll find out soon. Okay, the information on the cable. It's a Lexman UFTP Cat6A 4P 23 AVG, and that's it. 25 meters. I have to make the cable now.
When you finish pulling the cable through the wall, you have the choice to either use the keystone jacks, and for that you don't need any tools. You can simply crimp the wires, connect the wires to the keystone jack, and the cable needs to be shorter to only fit in the socket in the wall. But here I actually chose to connect the wire directly to the router, to the internet, and also on the other side to the switch. I didn't want to have these extra connections on the way. And spoiler alert, I did the cable wrong here because I didn't put the guide properly. So if you're going to upgrade to Cat6A or in general thicker wires where you need to have this kind of guide for the cables, that one, make sure you buy extra. Buy a few extra connectors, extra RJ45 connectors. These are RJ45 Cat6A connectors, and that is needed. This loading bar is very important. It will align the cables to the actual connector, the crimping connector. If you get the crimping connectors for RJ45 with pass-through, so the wires come out of the connector and they get closed only after you crimp them, I think that's even better, but I didn't find those and I don't have a crimping tool for that. And yeah, make sure the wires go through all the way to the end of the RJ45 connector before you crimp it, before you close it. And for the Cat6A cable also you get this kind of metal sleeve, metal jacket. I really like that. It's a very solid connection, and the ground wire, it needs to have a contact with that jacket. If you look closely here, the wires are not really in the position, in the right position, but I have another video where I show you the way to test these cables, and it can always happen, something can happen. And this ground wire, the drain wire, it's important that it's connected between the cables. I like to put it under that kind of crimping arm, and then put it next to the RJ45 connector so that this rubber sleeve will press it against the RJ45 connector. I believe that's a pretty good way to have it. I like these Cat6A cables. They're pretty nice, and especially the Cat6A terminals, the RJ45 connectors. They are really solid, but there might be a problem that it's too solid.
And this super thick one is the LAN cable. That's the cable now.
Once you insert it in the router, make sure it's not forcing in itself in one way, up or down. If there is not much tension on it, it's fine, it will sit there. It doesn't need to move around much anyway. And I would suggest to replace all the cables with the Cat6 or Cat6A, just because they're not really expensive. And especially through the wall, you can pull them through the wall.
This was the problem here. This one didn't go through. Okay, time to try this.
I had to redo this RJ45 connector, and this is after fixing it and after testing it with the RJ45 testing device.
Green.
It's not much of a surprise, it should be green.
Fiber and future 10 giga port is getting close to being used at 10 giga full. The blue cable Cat6A is for now, it's 2.5 giga, but it will be 10 giga in the SFP port.
I hope this helps you. Thanks for watching.